Cody, it has been a rough week for the Cyclones. We thought that maybe the Arizona game was possibly going to be a learning experience. Unfortunately, the offense has been very stagnant, although we saw some promising stuff. But I mean, with point outputs of 61 on Saturday against K State and then 52 on Monday against Kansas, is this offense broken, Cody?
There's two different stories actually within the Kansas State game. Um, there were strides in the Kansas game in terms of ball movement and whatnot, and the shot selection was better on Monday. Shots just weren't going down. It's just a big takeaway I had from the Kansas game. We had good looks. We simply were just not able to convert on them. And then the Kansas State game, that's the one that I think a lot of fans have been really frustrated with. I think it was just the turnovers really killed Iowa State because they had 18 turnovers in that game against Kansas State on Saturday. So, and obviously with Milan, obviously having been out, and unfortunately we haven't had production off our bench, it's really difficult to put up a good amount of points because teams have been doing a better job scouting Curtis Jones. They've been guarding him like crazy. Keyshawn hasn't really gotten those same looks that he usually does. Jefferson, I mean, he's hitting a lull right now. Jackson, I think he's in a lull right now. Taylor Lipsey has been a bright spot in the offense. It's just the fact that you aren't getting anything really out of Chatfield or Heisey because, I mean, in the last two games, those two combined have only taken one shot attempt to go 0-1. So this is something that is kind of inexcusable if you like are Iowa State. You can't have your guys only, or you can't have two guys collectively only take one shot attempt and not make it. So both Chatfield and Heisey have been net zeros when it comes to the offensive production. So there is a growing frustration within the fan base of their production. But I think ultimately it just comes down to the fact that teams have just been really guarding Curtis Jones. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can take it, but the big thing that I'm seeing is just like you shouldn't have to really rely on one player to make everything work. But I think that seems to be the case with this Iowa State squad because I think what's being often forgotten is the fact that this Iowa State squad is just it's a lot of mid-major like it's like an all-star mid-major team. Like most of the team is comprised of guys who transferred in from mid-majors, with the exception of Taman Lipsey, who's the hometown guy, and then Milan Momcilovic, who is like the big like force like the big like the main guy like that has actually been recruited. So I think there's just a lot of things to like it's a lot to unpack, but I think as just need guys like really just to really be able to step up. And I think there is progress being made. There was progress made on Monday in terms of, like I said, the ball movement and shots selection. Obviously, you aren't going to shoot 3 of 21 every night. That's one of those rarities where you just shoot bad. But I think if Iowa State can do that, what they did against Kansas, and actually knock down some more shots, Iowa State can find itself right back to where it was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially when we have a really, really easy portion of our schedule coming up the next four games. We can really get ourselves out of this rut. And like you said, I really chalk up Monday's game to lack of poor shooting and not executing the baskets that were, given in front of you. Just got to make them. But I mean, sometimes that's what happens in the game of basketball. You have a lot of makeable shots, you just don't make them, and that's what happened on Monday. So yeah, well, we are gonna move on from that, and then just with the Milan news, I know we got some news. I saw on the ESPN ticker yesterday. I Bleav they said that Milan, I think, is another week away from being ready for gameplay.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, on Monday, I mean, during warmups, Milan was able to shoot the ball. Like, obviously, you saw the wrapped up left hand for Milan, but he was taking shots. So, from the looks of it from the outside, it looks like he has made progress. And this is big news for Iowa State because obviously, this stretch, you ideally want him back before the Houston game.